Hello, welcome to GC Best School's e-learning classes. This is English class. I hope you're ready with your materials. Let's start. Today's topic is going to be on grammatical names and functions. Again, I said grammatical names and functions. And under this topic, we'll be looking at phrases and clauses. But we're going to be looking at an aspect of the phrases. Yeah, today's topic again is what? Grammatical names and functions. So at the end of today's lesson, we should be able to A, define grammatical names and functions, B, identify classes of grammatical names, and C, identify grammatical names and functions of noun phrases. So it means that at the end of this lesson, we'll be focusing on our noun phrases. It's an aspect of the grammatical names, so we'll be taking it step by step. Again, at the end of the day, we should be able to define grammatical names and functions, B, identify classes of grammatical names, and then C, identify grammatical names and functions of noun phrases. What then is a grammatical name? A grammatical name is a name given to a word or phrase or clause, depending on its function in a given clause or sentence. Again, a grammatical name is the name given to a word or a phrase or a clause depending on its function in a given clause or sentence. Now, there are different grammatical names such as noun phrase, adverbial phrase, adjectival phrase, prepositional phrase, noun clause, adverbial clause, and the rest of them adjectival clause, and the rest. Now, whenever we talk about grammatical names, we are looking at just three aspects. It's either going to be the noun clause or the noun phrase, or it's going to be the adjectival phrase or adjectival clause, or it's going to be adverbial phrase or adverbial clause. So these are the three specific areas that this topic dwells on. But nevertheless, there are two major classes of grammatical names and functions. The grammatical names are divided into two major classes. One, the phrases, and two, the clauses. Under the phrases, we have the noun phrase, the adjectival phrase, and the adverbial phrase. But under the clauses, we have the noun clauses and adjectival clauses, and also the adverbial clauses. So these are the two basic classes. Again, what are the classes? Phrases and clauses. It's only in this grammatical unit of words that we get grammatical names and functions. And that is why each time you talk about the grammatical names and functions, you're always looking at either the phrase or the clause. Now, but for this lesson, we will focus on the phrase and aspect of the phrase, which is called the noun phrase. So what then is a phrase? Before now, you must have been taught what a phrase is. We have always said it's a unit of grammar or a unit of group of words without a finite verb and expressing an incomplete thought. In the other way around, the phrase is meaningless. Although it plays an important part in a sentence or in a clause, but it is meaningless in the sense that it doesn't express complete thought. Alright? So that's why we say the phrase is a group of words without a finite verb expressing an incomplete thought or an incomplete meaning. Now let's look at examples of the following. Say the car. Yes, so many questions are going to will be asked concerning the car. What about the car? What happened to the car? What kind of car? Where was the car found? Now, because these ideas surrounding the car were not presented, then the phrase the car is meaningless. That is why we say they are not meaningful group of words, but then they are important element of a sentence or a clause. The second example says the beautiful new car. See, this means that a phrase can be of two words and can be more than two words, meaning it can be even a line. But don't forget, as far as there is no finite verb which gives it the meaning, then it's a phrase. The finite verb is what strikes the difference between a clause and a phrase. Therefore, you need to know what a finite verb is, and that's going to be an assignment for you. All right? Okay, so the third is said in the rain, in the rain, in the rain. Yeah, in the rain. What happened? Where was that? When did it happen? in the rain. Again, some young, tall, elegant, and beautiful Nigerian ladies. You see, that's a longer group of words, but there is the lack of final verb, making it a phrase and meaningless. Some young, tall, elegant, and beautiful Nigerian ladies. You see that? It doesn't make any meaningful thought. Why? Because it lacks a vital part that the clause contains, which is what? The finite verb. So when you are asked to tell the difference between a phrase and a finite verb, no, a phrase and a clause, you should know that the presence of a finite verb in a clause makes it meaningful. Yeah? The finite verb in the presence present in a clause makes it meaningful. But the finite verb absent in the phrase makes it meaningless, no matter how long the group of words could be. Okay, so let's continue. All right, now grammatical names and functions, still on. The types of phrases. Remember, we're discussing the phrase and an aspect of phrase, the noun phrase. So we're going to take it step by step. There are so many types of phrases, and we have about 8 there. We have the noun phrase, the adjectival phrase, the adverbial phrase, the gerundial phrase, the participial phrase, the prepositional phrase, infinitive phrase, and verb phrase. All of these are types of phrases. All of these are types of phrases. But when we talk about grammatical names and functions, we usually narrow all of this into 3 parts, which are 1, the noun phrase, 2, adjectival phrase, 3, adverbial phrase. Again, I said when we talk about grammatical names and functions, we always narrow these types of phrases into 3 because they are grouped into 3. Number 1, the noun phrase. Number 2, the adjectival phrase. Number 3, the adverbial phrase. And we are looking at the noun phrase for today. All right? And now, what is the noun phrase? The noun phrase is a group of words that functions like what? A noun. Again, what's the function of a noun? We always say a noun is the name of a person, animal, place, or thing, meaning that the function of a noun is to name. So it's naming. The function of a noun is to name, or the function of a noun is naming. Therefore, every noun phrase has a way of naming, and again, can describe in a way. When we look at that when it comes to a type of phrases. Again, the function of a noun is what? To name. And every group of words that function as a noun phrase has the ability to name. So typically, they act as subjects or objects or prepositional objects in a sentence, as we will see when it comes to their function. Again, a noun phrase is a group of words that functions like a noun. Now, it must always have a noun as its head word. And we're going to look at that briefly. All right? Now let's take a closer look at the foundation, or that is how this group of words, how these noun phrases are formed, so that we can always identify them whenever we see them in expressions. All right? So let's look at them. These phrases are nouns and explore the different ways noun phrases can be used. That is their function, how they can be used. All right? Let's look at identifying a noun phrase, and we're going to focus on 6 functions of a noun phrase. Yes, we're going to, from here, we'll look at 6 functions of the noun phrase. But now, let's look at how we can identify noun phrases. Now, generally, a phrase is a part of a sentence. Yes, a phrase is a part of a sentence or a part of a clause. Don't forget that. Like the examples we gave, if I have the car, I can say the car is new. That's a sentence. The car is new. That's a sentence. But using the word the car makes it a phrase. The car alone is a phrase, which is a part of that sentence. The car is new. All right? So the noun phrase forming the part of a sentence can easily be identified if it starts with any of the following, but must always end with a noun or pronoun as its head word. What makes a noun phrase is that noun or pronoun that stands as its head word, meaning the last word after this group in it. All right? So what are these things that we need to look for? We'll now look at number 1, the determiner. A determiner is like an adjective. It gives you more info or number in terms of number or quality concerning the noun. And there are classes of determiners such as articles, quantifiers, qualifiers, and the rest of them. But in a general note, I have decided to put them there. Now let's look at it. From the article class, we have a, an, and the. Now, when you have a before a noun, and you put them together, then you have formed what we call a noun phrase. Remember, I said a noun phrase is a word, is a group of words that act like a noun. And to identify them, we must look out for things beginning that expression and ending it. Must be a noun or a pronoun. Now look at these examples. Say a car, one early morning, the strange fellow, the strange fellow. Now, I can say fellow is a noun, there is a determiner from the article class. Now, you can look at a car. Car is a noun, a is a determiner from the article class. One early morning. When you look at one early morning, you're looking at one as a determiner and morning as the noun. Again, look at some sweet smelly flowers, some sweet smelly flowers. Now look at it, some is a determiner, all that quantifiers, because it deals with numbers. And then you look at the end of that expression, flowers, which is a noun. All right, so other determiners could include every, each, many. So when you see these things beginning sentences, watch and make sure it ends with a noun to give you the noun phrase. Secondly, a noun phrase can be introduced by an adjective or groups of adjectives. Now look at this first one. Say good and handsome man. Good and handsome are adjectives. Man is what? A noun. So when you piece them together, or the line them together, you have what we call a noun phrase. And there's a great looking people. Great looking is an adjective, and people is a noun. Piecing them together, or the lining them together, gives you what we call a noun phrase. Say small and broken bottle. Small and broken bottle. A small and broken bottle, and that makes it a noun. That tall girl. Now don't forget that we have some also demonstrative adjectives and possessive adjectives can also serve in this class when you want to form noun phrases. Like example is my. Say my father. My father gives you a noun phrase, right? The presence of possessive adjective my and the noun father gives you a noun phrase. Now look at that tall girl. That is a demonstrative adjective as used in this sentence, in that expression, that phrase. And the girl is the head of what? A noun. It is a noun as the head word. Therefore, that tall girl is a noun phrase. Another class of words you need to look out for is the two infinitives. When you find two infinitives coming before a group of words and that group of words ends with a noun, then it's what? A noun phrase. Say to beat a drum. To beat a drum is what I like to do. To beat a drum. So to beat, starting that sentence and drum ending it gives you what we call a noun phrase. To sleep at night is fun. To sleep at night is fun. Instead of saying sleeping at night is fun. Same thing. So when you find group of words like this, to sleep at night, it's a noun phrase. And finally, we look at the gerund. What do we say gerunds are? We say gerunds are verbs or words ending with ing functioning as noun. E.g., if I say I like eating, eating there is not a verb, it's a gerund. Yeah, it has with ing, it looks like a verb, but not a verb. It's not functioning as a verb. All right, so that's why we say that when you find a group of words beginning with an ing word and it's ending with a noun, that group of words is functioning as what? A noun phrase. Look at this examples. Dancing with my father. Dancing with my father is what I like doing. So dancing with my father is a noun phrase. A flying bird. Flying bird. I love flying birds. Flying bird. Flying there is a gerund. When added to the word bird, it forms a noun phrase. Settling down on the sofa is what I don't enjoy doing. Settling down on the sofa. Now, settling down on the sofa is a noun phrase because you need to add it to a part of a clause to make it meaningful. All right? So, these are some of the ways you can identify a noun phrase. A noun phrase, again, begins with any of this and must end with a noun or a pronoun as its head word. That's what we mean by a noun phrase. And that noun phrase functions as a noun, which is what? Naming. Now, but for the purpose of this lesson, we're going to be looking at 6 functions of the noun phrases. 6 functions of the noun phrases. 6 functions of the noun phrases. Number 1, we're looking at the noun phrase as subject of the verb. Now, noun phrase as subject. Now, listen carefully. When a group of words that function as a noun begins a word, a clause, or a sentence. When a group of words that looks like a noun phrase or that is a noun phrase begins a sentence or a clause, then that noun phrase is functioning as subject of the verb. Now let's look at examples. The spotted puppy is up for adoption. The spotted puppy is up for adoption. That is a noun phrase. And what's the function? Now look at those bolding aspect of the sentence. The spotted puppy. That's a noun phrase. And what's its function? It's functioning as the subject of the verb is. Now can you see the way I put my is in quote? That is how you answer such questions. You don't just write subject of the verb. No, you bring out the verb and put in a quote, like as you can see on the screen. Second example, the Bohemian house was brightly decorated for the holidays. The Bohemian house was brightly decorated for the holiday. The Bohemian house is written in bold letters. All right, that's a noun phrase. And because it's beginning this expression of the sentence and it's coming before the verb, then it's what? Subject of the verb was. Now, number two function, as object. And this comes as after an action verb. This comes after an action verb. Look at the example below. At the zoo, I saw a striped zebra. At the zoo, I saw a striped zebra. Now, remove at the zoo and let's look at I saw a striped zebra. Now, look at the bolding aspect, a striped zebra. That is a noun phrase. Again, what is beginning it? A, which is a determiner under the articles. And what is ending it? A zebra, which is a noun. Therefore, the whole of that expression in bold is called what? Noun phrase. And what is it function? Or how is it functioning? It's functioning as object of the verb so. I want a cute puppy for Christmas. Noun phrase as object of the verb want. Don't forget that you must always put the verb or those things in quote. Now see, as object, as subject complement, when it comes after a non-action verb like is, am, was, or are, even where, then it functions as what? Object, a subject complement, sorry. Look at the example. My mother is a great nurse. My mother is a great nurse. That's a noun phrase subject as what? Functioning as subject complement. What's the subject there? My mother. So you don't say my mother is, except you ask the question. So to make it complete, to make the statement complete, you give us what your mother is. And it says, my mother is a great nurse. So a great nurse is a noun phrase functioning as subject complement. That's what's happening in number two. Look at the word, verb, is what? A non-action verb. Therefore, the function of that noun phrase is complement of the subject or subject complement. Now, the next is as prepositional phrase, object, as prepositional object. And that this is when it comes after a preposition. You must know your examples of prepositions such as to, in, from, and the rest of them. Okay, now let's look at the examples quickly. So Mary lives in an electric household. An electric household. And that's an object. Now, what is the preposition that noun phrase comes after? In. So instead of saying Mary lives in, we need something to complete it. An object for the preposition. And so it's object of the preposition in. Again, look at Joe's drives to an awful job. An awful job. Coming before what? To. Alright? Now very quickly, as object complement, it comes after the object. So she called me. What does she call me? Her handsome prince. Now you see, me is a pronoun. Her handsome prince is complementing the object me. She called me. Don't forget the meaning of what? Object and subject in a sentence. Google it, find out info about it more to get it. Alright? Now the next said the provost named my dad the new dean. What was my dad named? The new dean. Therefore, my dad is the object of that sentence, and the new dean is what? Complementing the object, which is my dad. And then finally, it functions as what? A positive. Now this is when it comes to describe or tell you more about the subject. It's called a positive, or its function. The noun phrase at that point functions as well are positive. Now let's look at the example. Mr. James, their new principal is here. Mr. James, who is Mr. James? Their new principal. So that is just coming, is separated with what? 2 commas from the main sentence. Like I say, Mr. James is here. But which Mr. James are we talking about? Their new principal. So when you have this group of words functioning as noun phrase separated with these 2 commas from the subject and the other part of the sentence, then it's called what? A noun phrase. And not just a noun phrase, it's functioning as what? A positive. Because it tells you more about the subject. Again, look at that. Many students, the brilliant ones, were selected. I can actually say many students were selected. But because I wanted to give us the categories of students that were selected, I added the brilliant ones. So that's a noun phrase, function as what? A positive. So these are the functions we want to look at under the noun phrase. Number 1 again, it's a subject of the verb. When it starts the sentence, when it begins the sentence, or the clause, and coming before the verb. And we say object of the verb when it comes after an action verb. We say subject of the verb. Subject of the verb, number 1. Object of the verb, number 2. Subject complement when it comes after a non-action verb. Number 3, we looked at prepositional object or object of the preposition when it comes after a preposition. And then we looked at as object complement when it comes after an object in a sentence. And then we have as a positive when it comes or tells you more about the subject. All right, these are the functions of noun phrases, and you're going to be doing some work. So when you have any question, please don't forget to send your questions to our Google Classroom, where your questions will be answered and more examples will be given. All right. So this is your work, your task you're going to do and send to the Google Classroom where it will be assessed. Don't forget, where you are confused, you can always ask questions. All right. Thanks for watching and learning. Bye.